All right, so you know how it is with these video game updates?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes they're a big deal,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
Like they add a bunch of new stuff
Yep.
or totally change the game, and sometimes it's like, oh, they fixed a typo.
Right. Exactly.
But this update to EA Sports FC25, this isn't just some small potato stuff. This is about the AI.
Yeah, this is interesting because it's not just, like you said, making the game look fancier. It's
Yeah.
about the actual intelligence behind the players, you know?
Yeah, the brains behind the operation,
Exactly.
which is why we're diving into this article from esi.si.com.
Okay.
They break down all the details of this title update 3.
Cool.
Now, even if you're not a gamer, stick with us because this gets into some pretty wild stuff about how developers tackle AI.
Yeah. And this is relevant for all of us because, like it or not, AI is becoming a bigger and bigger part of our lives.
No, for sure. And this update gives us a sneak peek into what these developers are doing. It's
Okay.
like they're trying to teach these virtual players to think for themselves in a way.
It's true. It's really fascinating stuff.
So let's get into some of the actual changes they made. Gamers were all up in arms about certain moves that were just too effective.
Oh, really? Like what?
Well, one example is the Trivela shot.
Yeah.
You know, bending it like Beckham,
Right.
but like on steroids.
Uh-huh.
And then there were these driven passes that were crazy accurate.
I see.
And these are things that even real-life pros have a tough time pulling off consistently, you know? So the developers had to step in and tweak the accuracy, especially when players were getting a bit too clever with it.
So they're trying to make it more realistic, huh?
Exactly. Got to have that balance, right?
Yeah.
You want the game to be challenging, to feel like the real deal,
Yeah.
but not to the point where it's just impossible.
Right. No fun in that.
Exactly. And this is where these AI upgrades get really interesting.
Okay. I'm interested. Tell me more.
We're not just talking about nerfing overpowered moves here. We're talking about actually making the AI opponents smarter.
Really? So,
Yeah.
like, how do they actually do that?
Well, one of the big things they focused on was how the AI makes those diagonal runs, you know, when players dart into open space.
Okay. Yeah.
In the past, the AI wasn't very good at reacting to those sorts of movements, but now it's like they're actually thinking about it.
Interesting.
They're considering things like spacing, where their teammates are, and just the overall flow of the game.
Wow. So they're not just mindless drones anymore.
No, sir. They're learning to play the game just like a human would.
And that translates into how they shoot, how they defend, all that.
Exactly. It's all about making them more human, more adaptable to different situations.
That's pretty wild. So tell me, how does this actually work in practice? Like, what's changed with shooting, for instance?
Well, now, when a player's got a clear shot, you know, no one's in their way.
Yeah.
The AI is going to take that shot.
Smart.
And they're going to put some real oomph behind it, too. But if they're surrounded, if there are defenders all over them, they might think twice, you know, maybe pass the ball, try to dribble out of trouble, something like that. So they're thinking more strategically.
Exactly. It's about assessing the situation, weighing their options, kind of like a real player.
Makes sense. Makes sense. But what about the defense? I feel like that's always been a bit of an Achilles heel in these games.
Oh, tell me about it. I can't tell you how many times I've seen defenders just standing there like they've never seen a soccer ball before.
Right. Like, what are you doing?
Exactly. But this update, they really try to address that.
Oh, yeah. How so?
Well, they made them way more responsive. You know, they're
Yep.
tracking the other players. They're trying to anticipate those passes.
So no more defenders just chilling out by the goalpost while the other team scores.
Well, that's the idea anyway. They're trying to make it so those easy goals are a thing of the past.
I like the sound of that. But you know what I have to ask about?
What's that?
The glitches. The hilarious moments where the AI goes completely haywire.
Ah, yes, the classic AI blunders.
Because as much as this update improves things, you can't tell me they got rid of all the funny stuff, right?
Well, let's just say, even with all the advancements, those moments are going to happen.
Like it's inevitable or something.
Pretty much. AI still got a long way to go.
And those glitches are like a window into how complex this stuff really is, you know?
It's true. Like those goalkeeper moments, you know, where they try to punch the ball when they could just catch it.
Oh, yeah. Or they completely miss the ball because they're facing the wrong way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It seems funny, but it shows you how many things the AI has to process in a split second.
So how do you even begin to fix something like that? It's not like you can give the AI a pep talk.
Right. Hey, buddy, maybe try using your hands next time.
Ah.
It takes a lot of digging into the code, figuring out why the AI is making those decisions. Sometimes it's the tiniest thing, like a slight adjustment to the timing of an animation.
Wow, that's wild. It's easy to forget how much work goes into making these games feel realistic.
It really is. And as frustrating as glitches can be, you gotta admit, they do add a certain something to the game.
Oh, absolutely. Like it
Yeah.
reminds you that you're not dealing with robots, you know?
Yeah.
There's still that element of unpredictability.
And sometimes those unpredictable moments are the ones you remember the most.
Speaking of memorable moments, this update wasn't just about the on-field stuff.
Right.
They also tackled some issues in Ultimate Team and Career Mode.
Oh, yeah.
Now, for people who might not be familiar with those modes,
Sure.
Ultimate Team is where you build your dream team by collecting these player cards.
Yeah, okay.
And Career Mode is all about stepping into the shoes of a manager or player and guiding their whole career.
Cool.
Or let me tell you, when those modes have glitches, it can be a real buzzkill.
Oh, I bet. People get really invested in those modes.
For sure. Like, imagine you spend hours and hours grinding away, earning coins to buy that star player you've always wanted for your ultimate team,
Uh-huh.
and then you get them, and their attributes aren't updating properly.
Oh, that's the worst.
Or in career mode, you're trying to build up this amazing youth academy, and the game insists on giving all the young players the same last names.
I see what you're saying. It's those little details that can really break the immersion.
Precisely. And by fixing those things, the developers are saying, hey, we hear you, we see you, and we care about your experience.
Yeah, they're showing that they're paying attention to even the smallest details.
Because it's all about maintaining that illusion, right? That feeling that you're really in the game, that it's all real, even if it's just for a little while.
It's like you're watching a movie and you notice something in the background that doesn't make sense.
Right. Like, wait a minute, that's not how that works.
Exactly. It takes you out of the moment for a second.
Totally. And for gamers who really live and breathe these games, those little inconsistencies can be jarring.
For sure. It's like a breach of trust almost, you know?
Absolutely. But when developers take the time to address those things, it shows that they get it.
Yeah, they're saying, we respect your time, we value your feedback.
Exactly. And honestly, that's something we should expect from anything, not just video games.
Yeah. 100%. Whether it's a product, a service, whatever, that commitment to quality makes a big difference.
Huge difference. But you know what I find really fascinating about this whole update?
What's that?
It's like a microcosm of what's happening with AI in general,
Oh, I see what you're saying.
This push for realism, for AI that can adapt and respond to all sorts of different situations.
It's true. We're seeing it everywhere.
From those virtual assistants in our phones
Yeah.
to those self-driving cars that are, still figuring things out.
It's like we're all part of this giant experiment.
We really are. And those glitches, those funny moments where the AI shows its hand,
They're all part of the process.
they're like little reminders that we're still figuring this whole AI thing out.
Exactly. And each time we encounter one of those glitches, we learn something new.
So the next time you see a robot trip over a banana peel,
Or get confused by a simple question.
remember this EA Sports FC25 update.
It's a reminder that even the smartest AI out there still has room to grow.
And that's okay. It's all part of the journey.
It really is. Who knows what incredible things AI will be capable of in the future?
The possibilities are endless. But for now, we'll keep playing our games. We'll keep asking those tough questions.
And maybe, just maybe, someday those AI footballers will be coaching real-life teams to victory.
Now, wouldn't that be something?
All right.
All right, that's it for our deep dive into the world of EA Sports FC25 and the always evolving realm of AI.
Until next time.
Keep those brains buzzing.